All right, guys, I'm excited for this video. I'm going to be showing you how to create your own AI image generator that you can describe any image you can think of, a bowl of cereal, and let's hit enter. And you can see it's adding the text right there that I just sent, and it's going to generate an image. Right here, there's my bowl of cereal I just described. So you can do this really easily. I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, let's take a look at what we have here. Similar to the chatbot prototype we created, there's this text right here that's different. This says describe any image you'd like to create, and the placeholder text on our input field also has this placeholder text saying describe any image. So one difference here that you're going to notice is we've got this image. So if I increase the opacity on this image container right here, got an image right there, and then I've got the image contained in it. So what happens is when you send your request to the AI, then it's going to replace the image in that box, and then it's going to scale it up so that it has this nice little effect. So I'm going to drop the opacity on that and give you a little preview right here of what that's going to look like. So this is just a sample image right here. I've got this media, and that's one of the new changes that Protopie's made. They added this media property. So when you add that, then you can go to a source, you can add an image. In this case, I've just got this image from online that I replaced, and we're going to do that a similar kind of thing with the AI. So I think we're looking good there. First, we've got our submission triggers right here if the user presses the send button or if they hit enter. So we need to do something with that now. So let's get that. We've got that submit query. So we need to add the receive for when somebody hits submit. And then first of all, we want to hide this text because they don't need to describe the image anymore. They've already described it. Let's grab opacity and let's just drop that to nothing. So intro message and drop that to 0. And next, we've also got our user's initial description right here. So we want to add that text. So we're going to go to text, go to formula, and then add in the text from the message bar. Message, and then get the text property from it, dot text. Again, let's erase that once a user has submitted their question or their description. So reset the message. And we also want to disable it while the image is generating. So let's go to opacity. Let's go to my disable overlay right here and bring that to 30%. All right, now lastly, we can submit our request to Protopie Connect. So let's add a send request, and we're going to say describe. And now let's go set up the API. So let's save this. Let's go to Protopie Connect. Now let's import our Pi right here, our image generator. We're good to go. And go to our plugin, and we can start setting up the API. So let's go to the API documentation. And this time, instead of going to completions, we want to go to images right here. And we can see all the information we need. So we've got, this one looks a little bit easier actually than the chat generation of the image object right here. This is what's going to pass through to us, this URL. And here we go, create an image. So I'm going to copy this right here and go to my template. And the nice thing with this is I can duplicate different pieces of this. So this is my URL for the text generation. So I'm just going to duplicate this. And now I can change the URL so that I have a different one for my image generator. I'm going to look at the header. So the header is going to be the same either way. You're going to have to go get your API key again. And then let's go to the next one, the body. So we're going to duplicate that as well. And let's go see what we need for the body here. Here's our request body right here. So we have a prompt, response format, we have image size. So let's see, and here's this example request right here. I can just copy the format there. And I can go here and let's add that in directly right here. And it looks like this is the sample prompt. I'm going to change that to a dog riding a unicorn. My kids love unicorns, so I'm just going to copy that in Protopie Connect to the body and copy in all these things and just check if this works. And if you look at the method, it was still post, and so I'm going to make sure I've got that set as post, copy in my header. And now that I've got all that together, I'm going to just test that request. Since this is an image generator, it's probably going to take a minute. And look at that, it's successful. So let's check that. And look, we've got some URLs right here. So let's select this and see what we've got. So I'm going to copy that. I'll go to my browser and just paste that in right here. And it is a very odd looking image, but there you have it. That is a dog riding a unicorn. So I think we are good to go. I'm going to go back here to Protopie Connect. We're good there. So now I can start deciding how I want that data to come in. Now, similar to the chat prototype, we want to change this to replace me. We're just going to skip ahead there. Replace me. And we're going to copy this into that variable we're going to create. So let's create our variable in Protopie Connect, in Protopie Studio. Sorry, go to text. And this is our body template. Oops, shouldn't add a space there. Okay, we got our body template, and we want to send that with the describe. And so we're going to add here, body template. And we want to replace the text in there again. So we're going to add the replace function right here, replace in the, in our body template. What do we want to replace? The replace me. And we want to replace it with the message text.text. Okay, and again, we want to make sure we're doing that before we're erasing it from here. We're saying that request, everything's looking good. Okay, so now we can, let's make sure that we are getting that trigger back. Let's go to Protopie Studio. Let's add the message from the pie. We want it to be describe. So we're describing that, overriding the body with, with that body from Protopie Connect. And then we want to send that message back, the image. That's the message we're going to send. Let's activate that. And then we're going to go back to Protopie Studio, and we want to receive that message, which is the image. And we want to receive that from Protopie Connect. And I've already got these animations set up right here. So I'm just going to copy those, paste those right here. So I've got that scale animation, the opacity, increasing that of that image, and then replacing the URL for the image from what we've got, what we get in Protopie Studio. Now we need to go back up to that receive and make sure we're assigning that value to a variable. We need to create a new variable for that. We're going to call this image variable, or just image. I think image is fine. And then we're going to add that right here, image, and then go to media. And we want to change this formula right here. We're going to delete that. And we're going to do that parse JSON again. Parse JSON. And I need to go check the formatting that I'm going to get that in. So let's go back to Protopie Connect and test that request so that we can see what that JSON looks like. Oh, in fact, I'm overriding the body with that incorrect thing, so I need to try that again. In fact, you look at this failure, and it doesn't have the right information because I'm doing that. So I'm going to do that again. And there we go. That was successful. So now I can copy in this JSON right here, go back to my browser, and go to this JSON viewer. Let's paste that in here and click View. And now I can see what's being pulled in. So I've got data 0, and this one. So I'm not seeing much of a difference on these. I'm just going to go with this first one. So I need to go data.0, .url. So let's go back to Protopie Studio. Got this parse JSON right here. And we need to add in our variable. So let's grab the image. And then we also need the data.0. Okay, so everything's all connected. And I added a little bit of a delay right here from the scale and opacity to the image, just because sometimes it takes a second for that media to load in. And in fact, one thing I also want to do is add my image loading animation, because this might take a second. So let's click on here. Let's go to playback for that loading animation and have it play. And then once the image loads, then I'm going to stop that loading animation. I'm going to set the opacity to 0 just to simplify this. I would do something a little bit more complicated, but just for the sake of time and simplification. I'm just going to drop the opacity of that loading animation and then pause that. In fact, to just set it to pause it, and then also duplicate this by hitting Command D and then setting that back to 0. Okay, so now I'm going to save this right here, go back to Protopie Connect. Everything looks good here. So I'm going to just go to a browser and test it out. So a cat eating popcorn. Let's see what happens. In fact, while it's loading, so it looks nice, it's got this loading animation. I'm going to go back to Protopie Connect and see if anything happened, and it looks like it didn't. So we might need to troubleshoot this. I'm going to go through and make sure that everything's all working. That's connected. We're good. I didn't see a message come in, so that's how I know I need to check from the beginning what's happening. So we got these things. They're sending it. They have submit. This is getting the submit there, so that's working. Let's go to the send request right here, sending that to Protopie. Oh, it's sending it to the current scene. So that is where my issue is happening. So I'm going to save that again, go back here, hit play again, go back to my browser, and let's try that again. Cat eating popcorn, and let's hit enter there. Let's go to Protopie Connect. Oh, looks like it did send that message right there. And so we can look here and keep an eye there. Oh, it did get a message back. And so let's see if I got that image here. And it looks like nothing's showing up. So again, this is where we got to go do a little bit of troubleshooting. So first of all, let's go through to our API and make sure everything's connected correctly. When we tested that to get the JSON, it looks like we left override open. Okay, but that shouldn't have affected what happened there. So I think let's go back to Protopie Studio as well and make sure everything is all looking correct here. Let's go to image, that variable, and it looks like everything was, all the messages, we don't hear, all the messages were coming through. So looks like we're good on our messages. It's everything after this receive. So we're getting it from Studio, from Protopie Connect. We've got the image, assigning that to the variable. Let's go to our variable. Okay, so that's set to number. Again, we got to make sure that's a text variable. Let's see what else. We've got our receive, the image, and then adding that media, parse JSON. I also forgot right here, it needs to be data.0.url. Let's make sure we save all this and try that again. We're going to go to Protopie Connect, hit play, and go back to our browser. Let's go cat eating popcorn. And look, there we go. We've got that image pulled in dynamically. It looks like we still need our text here. So let's go back one more time just to make sure that text is showing up correctly right here. We're adding the text and the text has the opacity of 0. So let's make sure that's just, we're going to add that to 100% right here as well. So we're going to go to opacity right here, right after that text. For the user's query, bring that up to 100%, and let's do that again. Go to here, hit run, go to our browser, and let's go dogs chasing cows, just because my kids love animals. There we go. Now we've got the text, what the user wrote, and it's got the loading animation, and let's see what happens. And here we go. We've got very odd looking image of cows actually chasing the dog. But there you go. You can see that we've been able to create this dynamic image generator that you can just describe. Now, this is using the OpenAI reference for their image generator. And so I'll be creating another tutorial on how to do more advanced image generations to improve the quality of these. One of these will probably be using the Replicate API, and you can choose from a lot of different models on Replicate. And so there you have it. We've created an actual image generator prototype, and maybe it wasn't quite as easy as Pi, but it wasn't too difficult though either. And so hope you found that valuable. Feel free to subscribe and keep an eye out for other tutorials for really cool prototyping.